thank you for looking at James's Tech Tips, sponsoring Linus Tech Tips. I have a, what you call a Asus ROG series gaming laptop with one of the first generations on it. You know, generation i7s, things like that. Well, I've had the two different versions, everything from the NVIDIA to the AMD. I would not suggest putting a AMD or buying AMD old Asus computers for the simple fact that about the time you spend the extra money to get both the graphics cards and all the CPU and RAM, unless you bought it for no more than like $200, I wouldn't suggest to upgrade and go ahead and buy a whole newer unit. Otherwise, if you can find one for about $200, that'd be the most I would spend for one. And then if I was to upgrade it, you can go up, I think, up to the 3rd generation i7. You can also go up to 32 gigs of RAM. I know that for a fact. And if you do have an AMD chip, you have to replace the heatsink, or the chip doesn't match up, or the heatsink don't match up with the chip, so it doesn't end up mounting properly on your GPU. And you can get those up to about a 560 on a GTX 560M. Now that's about the max you're going to get from a GTX 560, or from an old Asus computer like that, for the simple fact they're just really old and they don't manufacture graphics cards that well anymore. If you can get, you know, not a 2010 model, but if you can get like a 2013, go for it, because then you can go up and get, you know, better 880s and maybe even a 980M, you know, GPU built in. There is another PCIe slot that you can take out that's up underneath where typically your wireless card goes. You can do something like an external graphics card where you plug it in externally to that. If you bought like one of those older models, I would definitely suggest going ahead and putting it up to 32 gigs of RAM, just because of the lack of the processor, because it's only a mobile processor. It's not the full, you know, i7 6700K. You're dealing with some of the older mobile. So if I was to do anything, I would actually just get an external graphics card, because you can upgrade to a GTX 560 with 3 gigs of RAM, but you're still, unless you want to do that, you know, the external will work the best. And you can typically find the adapter that allows you to convert it for no more than $32, for the simple fact that not a lot of people are using them yet. And, you know, not a lot of people would rather buy something that has the Dell, like their Alienware, or they have the external dock, things like that. But for an affordable deal, I think it works out great. There's no real bottleneck. For the most part, you know, if you do have the 1st gen, go ahead and upgrade your CPU. And make sure you have 32 gigs of RAM, and you'll definitely get some good gaming experience out of it. So, anyways, thank you for watching James's Tech Tips. Again, I'm sponsoring Linus Tech Tips. YouTube.